Swaay.Health.
Hey everyone, I'm John Lynn, the founder of Swaay.Health, and we're excited to be here at the AHIMA conference. And our guest is Beth Friedman from Finn Partners. Welcome, Beth.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so tell me, you've been coming to AHIMA for quite a while. You introduced me to AHIMA a decade ago, but what is the feel of the AHIMA conference been like for you this year?
For this year, it's a mixed bag, I would say. There's a lot of excitement about the new technologies, like we'll talk about ambient voice and automated coding, and even some conversations around data exchange, QHINs and HIEs. So a lot of excitement about what's ahead, but then there's sort of a lot of trepidation, I guess, from some of the people that have been working in the ranks for all these years. And you know, it's funny, John, I saw this same pattern with transcriptionists, like say a decade ago, when the EHRs were really doing the documentation in a more automated way. The coders have some similar worries. Will AI take away my job? And what we learned in the transcriptionists, which I think we're going to learn exactly the same in the coders, is the answer is no. Your job will change. You'll learn new skills. You'll level up. And I think it's actually, if you look at it from that perspective, how can I use the technology to advance my career? It's a very optimistic feeling here.
Yeah, I think that's the key is, are you willing to level up, I think is the question, right? Because sure, if you want to do, the basic coding, maybe that's going to be a problem because the AI can do the basic stuff. But if you want to level up and learn some more advanced skills, data quality, complex coding, the acute care side is more complex generally, those types of things, you're going to have some opportunities. And in fact, the coding is going to take away all the minutia you hate to do. So I love that. What would you say to a marketing professional that wants to, reach the HIM audience? What suggestions would you offer them? Well,
AHIMA is certainly a great place to do it. Most health information professionals are credentialed through this association. So whether sponsoring or being here at the convention, I think speaker sessions here are very well attended by almost every attendee, and they're really good. I went to one this morning that was fabulous. It was a panel of 3 HIM directors talking about a topic, and the queue afterwards for questions was halfway back through the meeting room. So I think speaking sessions here are very valuable.
Yeah, and we see that in the exhibit hall, right? Like during the sessions, it's empty. Then after the session, the breaks, they pile in, right? Because they are all at the sessions. So I think that's interesting. What type of companies would be interested in AHIMA? Who are the type of companies that may want to consider sponsoring or speaking here?
Anything obviously coding or clinical documentation related, that's big for health information professionals, but also the coding technology services, even revenue cycle companies. You're seeing a lot more health information professionals be involved in the revenue cycle, and coding is now reporting to revenue cycle most frequently. So, I think those are the kind of companies that make sense to be here. We talk about, here at the conference, you'll also see some data storage vendors, storing that legacy health information.
Yeah, there's been some archive vendors here.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Health information plays a big role in that. Data quality, we've been talking about that all week.
Yeah.
So data quality, there's going to be new roles for health information professionals as well. Like I really see, the evolution here also of, say, imagine a coder coding a chart, right? Well, when he or she is done coding it and everything's approved and verified, then they're also maybe going to say, yes, this case is okay to go ahead and exchange and put in the HIE. Like I'm giving it that check mark of using my knowledge and my understanding of what needs to be in this document. So I think there's just so many different things ahead.
Interesting. And, at Finn Partners, you do a lot of work with your clients to submit sessions. What's the timeline look like for AHIMA to be able to get sessions? Are there any, unique approaches or things they should do? Obviously we've always heard include a customer. I think that's a universal one, right? Yep. Are there any AHIMA specific ones that you'd suggest? And what's the timeline they should think about if they want to, talk at next year's event?
Well, like all national conferences, and now we're even looking at this as a best practice for state and regional conferences as well, get a customer involved. That is going to be a winner every time. So not every time, can't guarantee, But for the most part, you've got to
Gives
have
you
a
an
customer.
advantage.
Exactly. So get a customer involved and start doing that work early. Like even here at the conference, I would encourage companies that are here to start talking to some of their customers about maybe let's submit
Next year, do you want to do it together?
Yeah, let's submit this
that's
together
good.
next year and start sort of planting those seeds and get the customers on board with that. Typically, we try and work with our clients for AHIMA about 6 months ahead.
Okay.
Obviously, keep an eye out for when the call for speakers occurs and be timely and make your submission timely. Some of the topics AHIMA likes, they always have tracks. Typically, there are always some compliance ones. The one I was surprised not to see any formal sessions this year. There's a new rule coming out on releasing reproductive health records.
Right.
And it's going to be a big challenge in our industry. So, hot topics, always regulatory, something regulatory, coding, documentation, revenue cycle. Those tend to be pretty popular. And now I'm seeing a lot more tracks on data and analytics.
Okay.
Because we're starting to see these professionals be much more involved in data and data quality.
That's awesome. And I'd love to hear if you have any other tips to make the most of the conference. The one that I would say is if you're going to exhibit here, know your audience, which it has multiple meanings. One is obviously know what they care about, what they want to hear about, what they want to talk about. But the other side, we see a lot of Kate Spade bags as opposed to VR headsets because there are more women at AHIMA than there are at other conferences. So, it was interesting. This is another interesting marketing thing I saw. Someone was doing gel nails. So you could get a little manicure while you're here. I had never seen that, That was a little bit of surprise. I'm not sure how that played out. I'll be interested to hear, was it an effective marketing tool? But obviously they knew their audience, If it was a big tech conference, the manicure is probably not the way to go.
Not the way to go.
Any other hints from you?
Well, to your point, it is mostly all women. So I would say, I don't know what your thought is, maybe 80-90% women.
Yeah, I haven't seen the numbers, but it feels like that.
Yeah. And I'm a still am, I guess. I started as a coder. I started my career as a coder. So mostly women. I do think any kind of, like, to your point about the bags, that's always a good one, right? A raffle for that. I think having multiple days, like do a raffle every day.
Oh, okay.
Might be a good one to go with. The exhibit hall hours this year are much longer than they were in the past. I do like the nail thing, although I did not do it. But one of my clients one year did a makeup consultant.
Oh, interesting.
Or like a facial. I don't think they were doing full-on facials, but it was like a makeup consultant in the booth, and that was cool. Because as women, we're always looking for ways to improve and tips and hints and tricks. So that one I think worked well for them.
Yeah.
And while women are waiting in line, it kind of gives your salespeople a chance to introduce themselves, chat, hear their challenges and concerns. That's another thing I always recommend to marketing people. While you have your audience here and your end user and your target audience, ask them what their challenges are. Don't miss that opportunity.
Yeah. One year I saw someone giving out a nail polish as the giveaway, and I was like, that's pretty inexpensive. It's as inexpensive as most tchotchkes, and that's actually pretty valuable, right? Even if even I want to take it, and I'll give it to my daughter, right? So it's a pretty cool approach that way. Well, Beth, I appreciate you taking time to sit down with us and talk about this unique community, AHIMA. It is a really tight-knit community, and I think you see that when you come to the conference. You see, they love each other, they are excited to see each other, and they've been through a lot, whether it's the coders, whether it's the ROI professionals, whether it's the data quality, they've been there, they've been trained, and it's a really tight-knit community. So we
all survived the EHR implementations.
And we commiserate around the paper chart days, right?
Yes, or the memories of those paper chart days. John, it's funny. I've heard Chime be called as the old boys club. AHIMA is affectionately known as the old girls club. So there you go.
That's cool. Well, thanks so much, Beth, for talking to us. And thanks everyone for watching and listening. If you want to find more great healthcare marketing content like this, be sure to check it out at Swaay.Health. Thanks, Beth.
You're welcome. Thank you.